Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast. There we are. There we are.
My bad.
Those of you on YouTube following us along, thank you guys so much. Appreciate your support, like always. Those of you listening on the formerly known as Anchor, the podcast. Is that what it's called now, Tanner?
What is it now? It's called
the Podcaster or something like that.
I'll tell you what it is. It is the podcasters.spotify. Spotify for podcasters.
Spotify bought Anchor.
Spotify bought Anchor about a year or two ago, and it still runs exactly like Anchor does.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a rebranding of it.
Gotcha. So you guys, if you still have the app out there, thank you guys so much for listening in on that as well.
Apple Podcasts, you name it. We're on there.
All that good stuff.
I thought it was called Whiskey Dong. I'm getting confused.
Whiskey Dong?
What are you talking
about?
Oh,
that reminds me of when we go to Tulsa, we go by that gun store called Dongs.
Yeah, that was a great
store. We got to stop in there again.
What are you talking about?
I don't believe in guns, but I just like to go into that store because it's called Dongs.
Well, guns are bad. Okay. Well, Jason, how you doing, man? What are you sipping on over there?
Doing great. Oh, you know what? I've got a Guinness. I had my Guinness, but I forgot to get it out of the freezer. So I guess it'll be a dry show.
Would you like me to go get it for you?
Tanner,
why don't you go get my drink? I don't want to be dry.
You do like having servers.
I don't want to be dry.
When Jason and I go out to bars, he likes to make sure he has a server at all times. He doesn't like to have to go up and get his own beer. He likes to have someone bring it to him. So this is going to fit perfectly for what he needs for a day like this. So
we're having Guinness. And,
Guinness over there. I got a little Gatorade Zero, nothing special.
Yeah.
Tanner sipping on a water something. I hope those of you listening out there have something a little more colorful than we do.
Something a little more exotic, hopefully.
A little more exotic, all that good stuff that comes along with it. But I also really hope that our listeners have been following along the sports world this week, first and foremost, because guys, it's been March Madness, man. It's been fun. It's been fun to watch unfold. And I know you two are a little discouraged at the moment. That's fine. That's fine. You should have seen it coming. But Hey, it had to
I-
happen at some point.
I warned you guys. I was worried about it. I didn't let you bet on it for a reason. So
I wasn't gonna bet on KU.
yeah, you put it in your
Yeah.
bet up first.
Nah, I took it away right away. I knew that wasn't gonna happen. I took that crap away.
I got lucky because I don't gamble. I just give gambling advice. So I got lucky on that game.
Don't say that too loud because we do have an easy pick'em of the week on the NFL show, and we definitely gamble hard on that shit. So that's for damn sure. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say right now about March Madness because we have a lot of NFL draft prospect discussion go around the table here with you guys. We're doing a little NFL comparison with the group here. I always like looking at scouting reports, what other scouts or websites, or you got your walterfootball.com, NFLdraftbuzz.com, all the other scouting websites out there. I like seeing what they have to say and what their thoughts are on a prospect, because what I've always done in the past is I will not look at any of that stuff. None of that information, none of them telling me the strengths and weaknesses and all this other stuff. I like to literally do all my own research on guys. And then I'm out of curiosity, I will look at what other scouts at other websites and other authors are putting out there about their input towards prospects, just to see if it matches up, see if maybe we have differing opinions, because it happens all the time.
Mhm.
Now in this case, obviously, I have a feeling we're going to play a little game with, it could be current or former NFL draft prospect, but I want it to be compared to the player named that I have to say. Now, most of these guys here are going to be round 1, round 2 prospects. We have mainly offensive players, because I do want to bring this game back around here maybe in a couple weeks, and we'll play it again. And those of you listening out there, you guys play along. Tell me what these players make you think about first and foremost. So to kick it off, let's jump right in. I like to talk about first and foremost Quentin Johnston, at a TCU wide receiver, 6'4", 215. So obviously one of those bigger, lengthy kind of guys. Has the physical tools you want to see out of WR1. I would say he fits the mold of that style of a body and that style of play. Obviously was a big standout player for TCU, and Max Duggan and everything they had going on there. Had a great season. Had an absolute battle with K-State there for the Big 12 championship. So Jason, you go ahead first, man. Who does he remind you the most of?
I'll just throw out Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a little bit shorter, but I like the tall receivers. So that was the first guy that jumped out at me.
Interesting. I don't know if he's as much of a physical freak as Julio Jones was. And here's Quentin Johnson on the screen for you guys. Tanner threw him up on there for you real quick, showing some highlights. So for me, watching what I've seen of Quentin Johnson at this point, I see some similarities to AJ Green. And a lot of that is due to a similar build in the body, similar as far as hands, similar as far as what we saw of AJ Green coming out from Georgia, a decade ago, or however many years it's been now at this point.
Feels like forever.
12 years ago, I think, for AJ Green. And they came out in the same class, by the way. AJ Green and Julio Jones did. But as far as like the absolute ability to get up and high point a ball the way Johnston does, reminds me of AJ Green and what he could do in his prime, and not the rusted up AJ Green that we saw fall off a cliff. It felt like the last 3 years of his career. So that's probably my number one comparison for Quentin Johnston. Tanner, what you thinking?
Look, I think for me, it's going to be more the explosive playmaker part of him, the size, the playmaker ability. I'm kind of looking at a Mike Evans comparison here. The big body, to be able to, make tough catches in the middle of a couple guys coming at you and hit you. I really do think that Mike Evans is a really good, comparison for this guy.
Yeah, I can see that Mike Evans going on. Evans obviously a little bit thicker of a build, built more like a tight end, obviously. But as far as catching traffic, that's probably the most comparable part for that, in my opinion. But yeah, here's the thing. When I look at receivers who should be going in the first round, I have an obvious bias towards bigger receivers. I like my big bodied guys. I love Calvin Johnson types.
That's what she said.
I like those bears. You know what I'm saying? The big dudes that can come up and squeeze me. But wait a minute. This is a family show, you guys. No, but so obviously there's prospects out there that we're going to talk about here in a minute, but like Zay Flowers is another undersized prospect. He's 5'10", coming around like the 182-pound range, something like that. I see those guys and I'm like, yes, they absolutely have value in the league. but I want a true WR1. I want my DK Metcalf. I want those guys that are just downfield playmakers that are going to go win one-on-one jump balls. They can be trusted in the red zone. Also have the ability to catch a screen pass and take it 70 yards. I think Johnston fits a lot of those molds. So I can see that at least early in his career being pretty productive, going to the right situation, the right team. I see him right now probably being in the top 15, 16 picks. So I have him going obviously above what some people consider to be the WR1, Jackson Smith and Jegba. I have him above him on my ratings. After that, we have a son of the NFL, former football player Joey Porter. Obviously, his son from Penn State. We've talked about him before on the show a little bit. Great length, absolutely. I mean, 6'2" in the 190 range on the weight. I like a lot of what I see out of this guy, and I think he's going to be a man corner. I think he's going to be one of those guys that is going to fit very, very well in a man system. Just basically locking down a guy one-on-one at all times. Just the athletic ability he has is off the charts, and now he might surprise some people that he's not as much of a ball hawk as you would expect. I think you're just getting a straight up lockdown type of corner, maybe somewhere along the range of what we used to consider to be Darrelle Revis. That's not my comparison, though. I'm going to let you guys go first.
Yeah, I'm going to comp him to the Shermanator, one of my favorite players, Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
He's got actually longer arms than Richard Sherman, 34-inch arms. And, that's what I like in my corners. I like the long arms. That's what she said again.
That absolutely works. I've heard rumors about long arms and what that means. But I have no experience to tell if that was true or not. Tanner, what do you think of those long arms?
I think they're long.
Well, that's what they like.
Look, I kind of see this guy because he's an aggressive player. He blitzes. He can come off the edge really well. It's kind of a similar guy that we see today on the Chiefs, L'Jarius Sneed type of player, a guy that can go out there, be aggressive, willing to take some hits, not afraid to take on a guy that's twice his size at all, but can be very sneaky amongst those blitzes. So I'm going a L'Jarius Sneed kind of an effect here.
Interesting. All right. So Jason, I gave away a little hint earlier today while you and I were hanging out, but he reminds me a lot of former NFL player Nnamdi Asomugha, and he has now turned into a actor. He is actually a very good actor. He's been in the movies and TV shows. And if you guys have not watched some Nnamdi Asomugha movies, definitely check those out. They're good. Absolutely. 100%. I'm not joking. He is a solid actor. He's also in his early 40s. So
yeah,
no reason for him not to continue that career. So retiring at age 32 was probably a good choice for Nnamdi Asomugha.
What about Stephen A. Smith? He's a good actor. He does the soap operas.
Well, Stephen A., Skip Bayless, those guys, I would say they're all actors to a degree. Yeah, you can add them to the actor category.
That's great.
Yeah. One of those entertainment actors. Most of what they say is bullshit. But yeah, I like the Nnamdi Asomugha comp.
That's a good
just
comp.
because very, very similar structure, body type, very, very similar playing style, very, very similar what they do best. If you guys remember back when Nnamdi was the shutdown corner at that time period before Darrelle Revis, he was used primarily in man coverage with the Raiders. The Raiders were a man coverage team at that time. They played almost no zone at all in that mid 2000s range. Ended up being a 2-time All Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. Had 1 year where he had 8 picks. But he was not really known as being a ball hawk, a guy that was going to be consistently getting you 5 interceptions a season, nothing like that. That wasn't really his forte. His forte was don't throw in my area. I mean, you can throw on the other side where we have some random bums playing here and there, but he was not going to be the guy you wanted to target when you were playing the Raiders during that time period. So Nnamdi is my guy. Next on my list, I want to talk about Zay Flowers, guy I just mentioned a few minutes ago. Already talked about it a little bit. 5'10", in the 180 range, weight wise, very, very quick. And actually just plays well. I mean, for his size, he plays bigger than he really is. So it's one of those guys that I'll be curious to see how he transitions to the league. I definitely think there's going to be a positive career moving forward for him in the league. He's going to fit well. He fits well with what players do in this league, especially out of the slot. So Jason, who's on your mind when it comes to Zay Flowers?
He reminds me of Tyler Lockett just because he's got the short. I mean, he's kind of short arms, small hands. So he might be a guy that might fall a little bit farther than you might think just because of those two things.
Yeah, Lockett
I like that.
is probably the ideal comparison pick right here. It was one of those things where Lockett's great after the catch, has been his whole career. One of those guys you can throw it deep to him, and he's going to make a play on the ball. Surprisingly, sometimes you're shocked at a guy that's 5'10", that can go up and make a play. He is also my pick. So Tyler Lockett was taken. I believe Tyler Lockett was he a second or third round pick? Tanner, you remember by chance?
Lockett was, I could tell you, I can't remember what it was.
He was either a second or third rounder. I can't remember right off the top of my head on that. But I see Flowers probably going somewhere in the early second of this draft, just because he's got so much talent and he's meant for football. I mean, at the end of the day, he's meant for football. So just going to be a good player all the way
Third
around.
round, 69th overall. Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Nice.
Well, Zay Flowers, maybe he'll fall in that same range. If
He
he falls in that same range, I mean, that's good range for any team at that point. I mean, it's good value.
I mean, I'm with you guys on the Tyler Lockett. That's kind of what I was thinking as well. If not, maybe a combination of a Hardman speed, but a Tyler Boyd kind of hands and route running. I could see that as well. Give him a little combo there.
Gotcha. Okay. Next on my list, I want to talk about some tight ends for a minute. We have Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. It's been kind of the tight end one in a lot of people's minds for a long time now, really 2 years running. And this is a great tight end class, you guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this board. That's why, in my opinion, like if the Chiefs were going to take their tight end, this is probably a great year to do it. And I know we already are in a situation where it's like, you don't want to necessarily take away the job of Noah Gray because he's done a good job. And you brought back Jody Fortson already. He's going to be back another year. Same time, it's like, man, there's a lot of guys this year that would be so awesome to have as a tight end too behind Kelsey to eventually become your starter. And maybe the Chiefs say screw receiver and just have a tight end full offense. I don't know. Well, maybe we could be the first ever team to just sit, focus in on tight ends only and not worry about what kind of playmakers you have on the outside, which would be crazy to see. So for me, he could do a lot well, obviously. I mean, he's the number one guy for a reason. Great blocker, just kind of a solid all-around tight end. You know what you're going to get out of him. I think he's going to fit well with a lot of different teams and a lot of different systems. So just a matter of, hey, going to a team that doesn't have a crap quarterback, and he's going to be just fine. Great blocker, like I said. So with those things in mind, who does he remind you the most of with his playing ability?
I would compare him to Jason Witten just because of his good blocking technique. He's also got really good hand strength, Tanner. I know you like the good hand strength when it comes to your tight ends.
Just catch the ball, So you get points.
You like those strong hands, Tanner?
The big strong hands. Weird.
My guy, so similar. I don't know. Maybe would you guys say Mark Andrews is also similar to Jason Witten?
I was saying more Mark Andrews. I was gonna say, gosh, man, I was trying to think of more end zone targets, like a Greg Olson as well.
So with this guy, with Michael Mayer, I feel like he's a great like down the field type of tight end, straight up like
your red zone kind of guy.
If you're just hauling ass straight down the field in a vertical type of situation with your route, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be hard to beat. I mean, in those situations that come up, he's not your Travis Kelce's where you can catch the ball 5 yards down the field, make three guys miss, and this whole yak thing. Like when his yak, it's going to end up being a yak of okay. It's a vertical play, hit the seam, and you're splitting the linebacker and safety, and you're going to make a play that way because you just want to get him open in space, running north and south, and that's going to be what works best for him.
So we're not going to start calling him Baby Gronk like that one guy that got drafted several years ago. They started calling him Baby Gronk.
It was Zach Studfield. Was that?
Yeah,
who it was?
Zach Studfield.
Was your Baby Gronk?
That wasn't mine.
Well,
I didn't give a shit about that.
No, you were reading some Yahoo Sports crap, I think. And
probably.
They kept calling him Baby Gronk.
Hey, nobody's perfect. I did read Yahoo Sports back in the day,
Yeah.
We do got a comment out here, and Mr. Bakkins of the Bakkins Show says, "What's up, y'all? Packers need a tight end."
Hey, if this is a good time to have a tight end to pack, this is the class you want right here. So there's a lot of good ones on the list. We have one more. Let's do one more, guys. Dalton Kincaid is next on my list. A little bit of a different style of tight end from what Michael Mayer was. A little more of that Kelsey mold, I would say. Great receiving threat. A little bit more undersized. I think he's in the 6'4" range, 240 pounds. But great after the catch. So he's going to be one of those guys that you would like to see in space a little bit. Awesome hands you saw there. The guy just makes contested catch after contested catch. And it's for a tight end, especially, it's awesome to watch. And there's gonna be a lot of guys like Dalton Kincaid who want to replicate their game after Travis Kelce, and he would be a great one to fit the mold for a younger version of what Kelce represents in the league. So, with that said, who is your best current comp for Dalton Kincaid?
I'm going to compare him to Dawson Knox just because, as you said, he's a very talented pass catcher, and he's also a very fluid route runner. So yeah, not Tanner Dawson, but Dawson Knox.
I mean, I played just as well. So
I'm going to say lock him up. You know why? He is Aaron Hernandez.
Woo!
That is Aaron Hernandez and a white boy body right there running down the field. That is
Wow.
absolutely my comp for Dalton Kincaid, which, you know what? There was a time period not that long ago where there was a real Gronk, not the baby Gronk, matched up with Aaron Hernandez, and it was the best tight end duo of all time. Well, the Chiefs could make that happen this year. Having Travis Kelce and then Aaron Hernandez together, that's what I want to see happen.
I'd love to see it.
Wouldn't that be a thing to watch? So,
I mean,
that is absolutely my guy.
I guess since you broke the mold there, I'm going David Njoku. Kind of what he was
Okay.
the past couple of years. Kind of a big body,
Well.
great hands, can make a dominant plays. It's just a matter of staying on the field for him. But I think this guy's pretty well.
See, I feel like David Njoku was such an underachiever in the NFL because, he was taken early. The expectation was that he was going to be a stud tight end, similar to Evan Ingram
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And both of those guys have had weird careers where they've had ups and downs and frustrations. And
They both had some.
Kincaid is nowhere near the athlete of Evan Ingram, but Aaron Hernandez wasn't near the athlete of Evan Ingram either.
No.
But as a pass catcher, they're very close to being identical of actual talent abilities. So, yeah, that is my guy, number one right there.
We do got another comment on here,
Tufel?
guys. It's Tufel. He's
Tufel.
here. What's up, fellas?
I'm glad he's back again because
I thought we scared him away.
He started a little late today, and I feel like he either shows up late too, or maybe he just shows up later in the chat after we begin. I don't know. But we're going over some NFL draft comparisons at the moment. Next on my list is Nolan Smith from Georgia. The reason I bring him up is just because of the athletic ability at the combine. For me, and at the end of the day, that's what I noticed the most. And
4.39.
and for a guy coming off the edge, you have to consider what he's capable of doing at the next level. And is he just so undersized that he's going to be weak at the point of attack? I don't necessarily think so. I think if you go to the right team and the right system, you could work. You could become Bruce Irvin. You could become, or some of those other undersized guys that have come along the way. I want to hear what you guys think, though. What is your actual comparison for him?
I'm going to go with Hassan Reddick just because I believe in this
Ooh,
guy.
that's a good one.
I believe in this guy to actually get
like
to the
that.
quarterback, but he's actually a better run defender, I think, than he has been at getting to the quarterback. But I think he's going to do both. So
That's a really good comparison right there. I
I
think,
love that one.
and Reddick makes sense a lot. I mean, I thought Reddick was great coming out when he was going pro. He just looked like a football player. I mean, he just fit well with every scheme, whether it was a 4-3 or a 3-4, he was going to fit no matter what. And he's proven that in the league at this point. What do you think, Tanner?
I was
something
gonna
better?
I was going to go Bruce Irvin. I think Reddick's the perfect, though.
I
Reddick is
think that
perfect.
Jason's comp is better than mine because mine is actually Elvis Dumerville, which he played in a 4-3 and a 3-4. He could do a little bit of both, but he was a pure pass rusher. But I think the Reddick one is more on point.
I like Reddick more on that one. But yeah, I like Dumerville. I could see a little bit.
just
in it.
because of the undersized, quick off the line kind of deal. So that's the main reason that I would say Dumerville. But I think Reddick makes more sense. If he becomes Hassan Reddick, then the Chiefs better get up there and start trading up. Do whatever you got to do to get him because Hassan Reddick's had an awesome career to this point.
Nah, dude, we're taking the tight end instead of him. So hate to break it to you.
Tufel's been playing with a Steam Deck.
Yep.
And he's been dicking with it all night, kind of like Jason dicks around before the show.
well, that's what I was getting ready to say when you started talking about Evan Ingram and Njoku. I was like, yeah, those are guys are they're good comps, but they both have a couple of injured cocks pretty much every year. So
Right. Where Aaron Hernandez, I mean, he was a little bit of an injured cock, but he was more of a
he was more like the I'd like
it-
to injure others type. more than
injure
injuring
other
yourself.
cocks instead. Yep. So next on my list, we have four more players to go down the list here. Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia. Been a lot of fun to watch the last couple of years. Humongous. I mean, he's a 6'7", weight in the was it Tanner 270 range? Is that what I saw?
I'll tell you. Hang on, I didn't get
260 to 270 range, somewhere around there. I mean, just a freaking freak of nature. And actually, I think he had top ratings at the combine in the tight end groupings for all of the quickness test, the agility test, which
Yes,
is
he
just
did.
incredible for a guy his size. And looking at him, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what he's going to become. It's hard to say, like, is this guy going to be a true receiving threat? Is he going to be consistent? Is he going to be a blocker in the league?
265.
265. Okay, right between there. I've had a hard time with this one. Jason, I want to hear what you have to say first.
Yeah, I'm gonna compare him to Mercedes Lewis, just because of his size and power. I think he's going to be a great blocker. Now, in terms of how many passes he's going to catch, might not be very many. I think it's going to be an excellent red zone target, though.
Absolutely. Tanner, go ahead.
When I see this guy, it reminds me of two guys, Bubba Franks and Jason Dunn.
Huh. Interesting. So Jason Dunn, I'm assuming with the size and the blocking ability.
The blocking and the size.
So what's the Bubba Franks?
I don't know. I just something about it.
I think he just likes the name Bubba. I think
do
that's the
love
reason
name
he said
Bubba,
that right
but
there.
I was like Bubba Franks. It's like he can catch someone, still be effective, but I think it's gonna be more of a Jason Dunn.
I was curious to see if either of you guys had a different comp than Mercedes Lewis, because it seems like that's everyone's main comp is Mercedes Lewis. Yeah, I mean that's all I've heard, and my actual answer is nobody. I don't think we have any kind of historic or current tight end that's played in this game that has a similar structure to his game as himself.
Would you say like a George Kittle? You think it's that level?
Gronkowski.
I would say he's closer to Gronkowski than Kittle.
So maybe he's the baby Gronk.
This could be baby Gronk.
He's the baby Gronk.
This is the true baby Gronk
Okay.
right here. Yeah, I mean that's the closest I can come up with. I just think that we have something with him that the sky's the limit. And red zone wise, I mean, you're looking at a monster in that situation. So it's a matter of staying healthy and all that. But I mean, should have a great career ahead of him. And I think that no matter where he lands, he's going to be productive. But I don't see him being a guy that's going to be catching 100 balls a year.
I feel like there's gonna be more high value on him than it's actually production's gonna happen.
So yeah, so in something like that, we saw Gronk, throughout his career, and he'd have seasons with somewhere around 70 catches, but he was a big yards per completion guy, and so he had a even greater yards per completion than Travis Kelce does, and he was averaging more like 13 to 14 yards per catch on average, even in some of his bad years. I see Darnell Washington in the receiving game averaging somewhere around the 15 yards per catch range, just because he's able to get downfield and the length that he has. I mean, that in general is going to stretch the field more than you realize. And in the red zone, of course, I mean, that's always going to be there, and he's going to be a monster in those situations. I don't see him being an underneath tight end by any means, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong because I don't know what to expect of this guy. I'm genuinely curious. Next on my list, we have Texas second string running back to talk about, Roschon Johnson. So Bijan Robinson obviously is the RB1 for the entire draft this year. Probably going in the first round to somebody. And then Roschon Johnson's kind of been a little bit of an afterthought. He's currently ranked, just outside the top 15 in some categories. Some people don't have him ranked that highly, but I mean, when you're sitting behind the number one running back at Texas, what can you do? And what can you do? Because the reason I bring him up is that we've seen this happen before in the past, a lot of times at Texas, where you have some, elite starter in front of you who goes early in the draft, and then in Priest Holmes' situation, guess what? He was undrafted.
Yeah.
Priest Holmes went on after sitting behind Ricky Williams and had a great career in the NFL. And, and all along, it's like Priest was truly a great back that should have been taken almost as early as Ricky Williams was. And so Now, we've seen over the years how that works out and how some of these guys can go under the radar just because they didn't get as many touches as the true RB1. And I think some of these, I could have sworn I saw Bijan on those highlights, Tanner. But no, Roshan's awesome. Roshan's
supposed
good.
to be all Johnson.
Yeah, I saw yeah. So, anyways, what is your comp for Roshan Johnson in the NFL?
I will go with Latavius Murray just because this guy's a power back with toughness. He's not the most explosive guy, but I think he's going to be a productive guy in the NFL, and that's what I think of when I think of Latavius Murray.
Interesting.
So what you're going to get out of Roshan is going to be in his prime, which was a very short prime, but in his prime is going to be David Johnson. So the David Johnson you saw at the Arizona Cardinals early on from, coming out of NIU, that is going to be Roshan Johnson for maybe 7 or 8 years. And that is the ultimate goal right there for him. Obviously, injuries came into play for David Johnson and everything else, and he had a quick fall off. But this guy is going to be in that kind of range as far as actual ability, both in the receiving game and style of play. If you guys if you're curious what I'm talking about, watch David Johnson from, 2014, whatever it was. That's going to be who this guy is for his career. So he's going to be good. Someone's going to get good value out of Roshan Johnson at the next level.
I agree.
Is that your guy, Tanner?
I actually had like a Cedric Benson, Matt Forte kind of type where he can be effective in receiving and have a little bit of a bigger body to take on some hits in the goal line. So I kind of like those two. He has explosiveness too, similar to like a Forte Benson style. So,
all right. Next up, we got Tennessee wide receiver Jalen Hyatt. Now you guys know I've talked about a little bit how I feel about him. I like him a lot. I think he's got great explosive ability, playmaking ability, down the thread ability. For me, and as much as I've hyped up Hyatt to you guys, you're gonna laugh at my comps because I'm gonna let you guys go after me here. He's a combination of Will Fuller and Mecole Hardman.
I thought you were going to say Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. He's Will Ferrell and Mecole Hardman. No, he's Will Fuller, minus hopefully the horrible hands, and Mecole Hardman.
Scott, hang tight on your comment. We'll get to it here in just a little bit. Here, we're finishing up our list here. He's got a couple more.
He's basically going to run go routes, jet sweeps, quick hitches, and outs. At this point, that's most of his route tree that he's understood. Does not mean he can't figure it out and learn more. Put him in a different coaching situation. You can learn the way to playing wide receiver because he's got the actual ability to make it happen. So what do you guys got?
I'm going to go with Deshaun Jackson just because he's long and slender and he's got that deep speed. Like you said, Mike, he'll be running a lot of go routes. So that was my comp.
All right.
Why not a Chris Godwin? A guy that's going to play in the backfield and be on the outside, like you said, take the edges. He's not really going to come inside too much. But I think I think Chris Godwin.
He does run great slants.
Yeah.
So Jalen Hyatt runs a lot of slants, which is something Godwin is awesome at. Godwin's one of his key characteristics is underneath play and great hands. He's been known for that throughout his career. So I'd rather him become Chris Godwin than I'd rather him become Will Fuller or Mecole Hardman.
Correct.
So I would take that as upside. So that kind of makes me think.
Yeah, right.
Just does a little bit of Chris Godwin comp. So
now we got Sky out here says, what about Hyatt as a bigger, faster Sky Moore?
So that sounds to me like a Mecole Hardman, though. I mean, not the Hardman's that much bigger than Sky Moore, but just similar as far as that way. I think he has more downfield threat than Sky Moore does, and I don't think Sky Moore is really ever going to be a true downfield threat for this team, for the Chiefs. But as far as underneath, I think Hyatt could absolutely have great underneath ability and be one of those guys that gets open in space underneath. So, and then, takes it 70, 80 yards here and there,
right.
Similar to Deshaun Jackson, though. So I get that. Last on our list, you guys, we have JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He is, in some people's eyes, he's the WR1, but you can't ignore the injury history and you can't ignore the 1 year production. And yeah, that 1 year was awesome. That 1 year,
similar to Jalen Hyatt.
That 1 year, he was technically the best receiver of Ohio State on a roster that had Garrett Wilson and who's the other one? I can't think of right now. Yeah,
Sorry.
he was the slot receiver essentially of that roster.
Correct.
And looking at him, I've gone back and forth a little bit, and I don't dislike anything about Jackson Smith. I like him quite a bit. I think the guy is going to be one of those dudes that gets open quickly and a lot, and probably catches 80 to 100 balls every year. So, meaning he's going to be a big part of every offense that he lands on. He does have deep speed issues. He does have issues with being able to get that vertical threat down the field consistently, and which is strange for a guy of his size. You know, most guys his size you see come into the league are able to go 50, 60 yards. You know, take the top off a defense. That's not necessarily going to be his game at the next level. So, with that said, Jason, who do you have?
Yeah, I agree with you. He's just a natural slot receiver, and that's basically his expertise right now. And I'm going to go with Robert Woods as his player comp.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, and it makes a lot of sense. I know some people hearing Robert Woods are probably going to be underwhelmed by that comparison, just because Robert Woods has always been a good but not great player. And but you know he's hung around for a long time, right? Robert Woods has been in the league for a long time, been productive with a lot of different teams. So for me, I could see why that comparison makes sense. Tanner, do you have a better one?
No, actually, that was the one I was going to give you guys. Just cause, and it's not going to be the Tennessee one. It's going to be the Ram style of Robert Woods, where you can count on him essentially being that guy who's going to be underneath and really not taking all the shine from everybody. He's just going to do enough to take care of business.
Which is going to make a lot of quarterbacks happy.
Oh, it will.
You know, so wherever he ends up is probably going to be a good thing. Mine, I'm going to be really nice here with this one, and this is me as a compliment of not trying to be pessimistic about his career. I'm going to give him Keenan Allen, and the reason I say Keenan Allen is because I think Keenan Allen is one of the great shallow cross receivers we've ever seen on guys that can catch the ball while running 5-yard drags, you know, across the line of scrimmage and turn them into something. I think that just gonna be one of those guys that's open a lot. The injury history. That's something that Keenan Allen had coming into the NFL that in a lot of ways he fixed. I mean, he had a lot of good long seasons.
It took him about 3 or 4 years, but he got it fixed.
I mean, he had 2 torn ACLs at Cal.
Yep.
Keenan Allen did. So, I mean, he came in the league and has made the absolute most of it and only had a few mishaps here and there. Maybe Jackson Smith and Jigba can do the same exact thing. I think just because no one mentioned it, the one that makes the most sense to me is probably Jarvis Landry. Just because that's
that one too.
It's Landry's one of those guys, you know, he'd catch 100 balls, get 1,000 yards. That's 10 yards a catch, which is going to be towards the bottom of the league. And that might be what Jackson is.
I like that too. Real quick here, Scott says, what is Smith's height? He's 6'198" as a junior here. And then he looks at Smith as being the smaller Michael Pittman.
Hey, if you can win contested battles, that would probably make a lot of sense in those cases, I guess. Michael Pittman, man, that guy's got a lot of upside still. I feel like his career has been held back by the quarterback situations in Indianapolis because I feel like upside wise, Michael Pittman could have been Julio Jones. And if you give him the right quarterback situation, I mean, that could have been his ceiling. I just think with the Colts and the way that they're constantly running through random quarterbacks every year, it's going to be frustrating.
And random coaches.
Coaches, quarterbacks. I mean, for Pittman, it's like, man, this is frustrating to like get in sync with somebody, like really have, you know, create that reliability with each other. That's a interesting one right there. But I'll be honestly very interested to see where Jackson Smith and Jigma ends up, just because I think no matter where he goes, and as much as we want to sit here and talk about, you know, him maybe being a Jarvis Landry or, you know, Robert Woods, whoever gets him is going to be happy with production that he comes with, as long as he's healthy.
Scott 1,000% agrees with you.
Yeah,
and Dan the man, great show, guys. Dan, appreciate you.
Man, my question would be on him is like, do we really want to spend like a 12th overall pick to get a Jarvis Landry or a Robert Woods or somebody like that?
No.
I mean, if you could guarantee me he's going to be a healthy version of Keenan Allen, then maybe I would spend that pick. But that's where they're saying he's going to go, like middle of the first round.
Somebody's going to reach for him too.
And I don't think middle of the first round is the right situation. Like, I would not be shocked at all if he falls, just because, first of all, he didn't run the 40 at the combine. He did have great numbers on the short shuttle and the 60, all that stuff, which is great to see. But everyone's worried about that deep speed. I think he's terrified to go out there and run a 4.7, which is exactly what Keenan Allen ran at the combine. It was a 4.7. Keep in mind, coming off of knee surgery.
Correct.
So,
Scott here. So his question before he commented on everything else here, he wants to know who was the best wide receiver you guys believe in the draft. He was late. He was on Mr. First Downs in that great show as well. So who's the best wide receiver you believe at this moment coming out of the draft?
it's a tough one, man. I just think they all have a lot of different characteristics about them, and it's going to depend on scheme fits for a lot of these guys, and quarterback fits. Because I could see a guy like Jalen Hyatt being a bust if you put him in the wrong situation. I could actually see him failing because of bad quarterback play, and I could see Jackson Smith and Jigba being those guys. If you pair him with the right quarterback, put him with the Bills, I mean, he's going to put up great numbers.
Mhm.
Quentin Johnson, who we talked about first, guy's got absolute WR1 talent. He might be the actual best receiver in this class. And you got other ones like I don't think Jordan Addison's going to amount to much in the league, honestly, personally. Just not really one of my guys.
I like me some Josh Downs.
Josh
for the
Downs
Tar Heels.
has upside.
I like Josh Downs.
Absolutely.
Marvin Mims Jr. for Oklahoma has a really potential upside
Mhm.
as well. Josh Downs I have right now, I think above a lot of these guys currently.
My dad sent me a text last night. One of his guys he's got in his eye on right now is Jonathan Mingo at Ole Miss.
Mhm.
I watched some of that guy is going to be a good player. in
He's
the
gonna be
league without a doubt. He's going to be good. He's going to be one of those guys you draft him and like you're going to feel confident that you're going to get production from him in some kind of way. And sometimes like you like that more than you do the high risk, high reward guys. You want guys that you just like you got him and you're like, yeah, he's going to be worth something.
He's gonna be do something.
So
Scott out here says Zay
tough.
Flowers will be a very good NFL receiver.
yeah, I agree.
Which
Yeah.
we broke him down too in it.
Like I said, Tyler Lockett was my guy. I think we all agreed Tyler Lockett
Yep.
was the best comparison for him. He's a football player. At the end of the day, just like Tyler Lockett, like they're meant for this game, and they're going to be good no matter where they end up. And I don't think there's a lot of risk for a Zay Flowers as much as there is for maybe a Jalen Hyatt, and maybe for the longevity of Jackson Smith. So that's the way I'd put that. But there's still time to go. I mean, we still got, we're 5 weeks from the draft, right?
A
Yeah.
long way to go.
Feels like a long way to go. Feels like a long way to go.
March
We'll be
has
there.
lasted
Yep.
forever, by the way.
Oh, March has been
forever.
awful weather the whole month. It's just been raining.
Awful
just
weather.
nasty.
We've been dry the whole month.
Yeah.
Like, wet.
Boring.
The weather's been wet, but we've all
Right.
been dry, which
Yeah.
sucked.
Oh, absolutely. It's been boring. Like we all picked a bad month to be dry. I mean, actually, it's a good month because we didn't want to do anything. So
Well, at least if nothing else, we didn't get pulled over. Oh wait, yeah, never mind.
Oh,
That
you got
happened too.
yeah, you might have gotten pulled over. I don't know.
Yeah, it happens.
Might have, but, that from time to time that happens. But just that's not why we're dry. We're not dry because of a pullover.
No, that's not. No, it's not the
But,
reason. at all.
that was a good. I hope you got that figured out. By the way, so
I took care of it.
good.
That's what I
Okay,
like.
Care of it.
very nice. All right. Well, anyways, guys, that concludes the NFL comparison subject for the day. If you guys have more comps for us for the guys listed or anybody else for that matter, let us know because I'm always open and I'm always curious to see what people think about prospects and who's maybe under the radar that we don't talk about yet.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a lot more to talk about in the coming weeks, of course, with the NFL draft and guys that are standing out. And we haven't spent much time on people ask me lately about what I think of DeJuan Jones. They've been asking me about him, and I understand he's intriguing. He's humongous. It's like drafting a tree. Like that's interesting. Of course, I get that. I know. I also don't really think he translates very well to the Chiefs in particular because that's what I've been getting asked about. But maybe some of the Ravens. He's going to be really good with the Ravens.
I
Could
think
be.
so. Could be.
Depends on what team you go to. That depends. That's a lot of the draft. A lot of the draft is not so much what you've done so far, but where you end up is who you become. And
Yeah, don't go to a shitball team. That's the bottom
which
line.
back in the day we used to dread everyone that went to the Browns and Jets. Now it's like you might go to the Browns and Jets and be okay.
Yeah.
I mean that the world has changed in the NFL thanks to some parity along the way, and now the teams to worry about going to I mean, I would not want to go to the Panthers. I'll tell you that much right now.
No, not at all.
Trying to avoid that place.
Pass.
Panthers, Washington. Honestly, I wouldn't want to really go to right now. I just
Whatever team Cam Newton ends up on, probably
Yeah.
wouldn't want to go to that team.
yeah, there's a few teams out there you'd want to avoid for sure. So, yeah. What's the Scott say? Anything else?
Nope.
Or
Oh, wait,
what-
yeah, he
I
did.
was- I
Sorry.
thought I did say something else.
No, it wasn't. There it is. He says, "You guys know Botkins is going to get all you guys in trouble at the NFL draft." Scott,
Is he going to call the cops? I've already been
I-
pulled over once.
I don't think it's going to be Botkins we got to worry about. It's a couple guys at this table we got to worry about, and it's not me.
You didn't-
Dave says Mingo. Mingo makes me think AJ Brown 4th round projection.
Yeah, Mingo looks good. I've watched a little more of him since I was shown the little highlights, but yeah, I just think he looks like a great ball player, someone that fits well with NFL and kind of a prototype of height, weight, speed, just kind of a good physical player as well. So he'd fit a lot of different teams for sure. So
Definitely.
there's just a lot of guys out there still we have not had a
Talked
chance
about
to,
or anything. I
to
mean,
dive into.
honestly, I kind of took a pause on the NFL stuff because there's March Madness going on. So
Tanner, your season's over. You don't have any.
it doesn't
madness.
matter. NFL's or the NCAA bracket's still going
Dude,
on.
the madness is over. Your bracket's crap.
I still got 3 out of my 4
Yeah,
Final 4 teams still in there.
Did you pick Alabama to win?
I'd pick KU to win.
Would you
picked
pick
Alabama.
Are
in
you,
the
are you
finals.
one of those few KU fans that actually still cares about the tournament? Those
Yeah,
are few and
I
far
am.
between.
I am.
Well, I'm gonna. So
Scott wants to know your comp to BJ.
BJ.
Bijan. Sorry. BJ, Bijan.
Tater, whatever he's drafted, and we talk about Bijan Robinson as time goes on, please never call him BJ.
I'm gonna call him BJ
because that's
again.
just going to be a problem a little bit. I would say it's going to be a problem. Robinson, to me, so he's very, very smooth. He's one of the smoothest runners I've really ever seen.
Tomlinson.
There's something about his footwork that is just incredible, which also scares me. There was a highlight we've seen on Twitter where he literally got folded in half on a tackle, literally in half, and ended up finishing the game. Like this would kill all 3 of us at the table. He got folded in half during a game. Like I'm saying, like his head was like over by his ankles, but reverse. And he finished the game, which is just I don't know what kind of body you have to be made of, like Gumby maybe, and then you could survive that. But it just sounds horrible. But he ended up finishing the game and continuing to play. Anyways, I gotta go something similar to Alvin Kamara,
Okay.
just because of the smoothness and the receiving ability we've seen out of him. Running wise,
No Ladanian in that one.
I can see LaDainian. LaDainian makes sense.
Early LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, McCoy makes sense. So those types of players would be Bijan, which I think some people compared or mocked him to go to the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think the reason people are doing that is because it reminds them so much of LaShawn McCoy in the younger days. And Robinson is going to be right in that range of that. But I just think his receiving ability as well is very smooth, reminiscent to me of what Alvin Kamara has done in the league to this point. So I could see Robinson 100% being a 50, 60 catch guy in the league, somewhere around there. But then putting up 1,200 rushing yards.
Well, as a guy that saw him in person dominate my team,
Told you
this
1,000
guy's
times.
a monster. This guy's a monster.
Told you 1,000 times, Tanner. I was like, you ain't gonna stop Bijan, and he put up almost 300 yards on you.
Yes, correct. It was rough.
And it was 5 touchdowns, I think,
5.
something like that.
Couldn't stop him.
I mean,
No matter what.
It probably could have been more, but I think they kind of peeled back a little bit. So
Yeah. a couple
you
of
don't
carries
even
at the
remember
end.
watching Roshan Johnson that day, then?
No, he was there. I remember like, why is he in now? But yeah, that's because it was a 1-2 combo.
Bijan's faster than Marcus Allen. I mean, Marcus Allen, I'd be curious to see how Bijan does in goal line situations in the league. Because as we all know, Marcus Allen was at the time period one of the greatest goal line backs. If you need 1 yard, he's going to score no matter what. I don't know. I think that I would probably go more towards the McCoy range.
I think
For
the speed and
Robinson.
the smoothness is more than the Allen.
And it's not. And he's a great prospect. I mean, he's not the prospect that Saquon Barkley was. He's not the prospect Adrian Peterson was. But what he's going to do in this league, for the way it's designed now, is going to be extremely productive, like immediately.
Yep.
And you guys all know how big of a fan I was of Iowa last year. Iowa back for the Jets.
Hall.
And
Hall.
yeah, Brees Hall. And I think Brees Hall is awesome. I mean, I think Brees Hall is absolutely going to be awesome. And they're just different types of players between him. But I just think there's a lot of hype right now with Bijan. At the end of the day, we need to remember he's a running back, and his life expectancy in the league is not great. I mean, you basically get your rookie deal, then you get one more deal after that, and
Then you're cooked.
then you're pretty much cooked. Yeah, you're about done.
Then you're Todd Gurley.
It happens fast. The fall off is quick for backs.
yeah.
So I could see Robinson though having an awesome first 3, 4, 5 years, but after that, I mean, the value to me taking him in the first round, like we were all talking about, is just hard to
Too risky.
It's hard to do because there's a lot of backs in this, and I just talked about Rashawn Johnson maybe coming out and being just as effective. Who knows?
Yep.
I mean, he was the second string back at Texas the whole time, but his style of play also fits really well in the league.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things fall and how they go. Do you guys want to talk some
March Madness,
March
baby.
Madness still, or
Let's do
is
it.
that you done with? Because look, guys, I'm looking forward to K-State tomorrow. They've had a couple nice wins so far to this point, and they're fun to watch.
No,
you guys can be haters if you
They
want
are.
to, but
No.
they've been fun to watch.
I was rooting for the Cats. I had them losing in my bracket to Kentucky. Just Kentucky was a bigger team, but I was rooting for the Cats, even though I had on my bracket. So I'm happy to see K-State keep doing well in that bracket.
Why don't we do this? Let you guys want to pick your biggest upset that you think is going to happen in the round of 16?
Round of 16. You got to go first if we're doing that because I got to look at all the bracket stuff. I gotta pull it
Yeah,
up
so
and
I'll just throw out a couple real quick. The one that I see that I really believe in is Arkansas over UConn, and I'm only looking at the seedings here because when you get to the Sweet 16, the seeds don't really matter as much. But yes, technically, Arkansas beating UConn would be an upset. So I do see that one happening. And again, Kansas State versus Michigan State. I don't see that as an upset, but a 3 versus a 7. I do see Michigan State beating K-State. I just think,
Really?
yeah,
Tom
Izzo. I mean, he's got so much experience. He's going to have those guys ready to go.
I like it.
So those would be my 2 that are, again, all those 4 teams I just mentioned, they're even. So it's not necessarily an upset. I'm just looking at the numbers before the name.
Okay. What do you got, Mike?
Out of all the choices right now, probably Miami to beat Houston. I know a lot of people love Houston. A lot of people have Houston winning it all in their brackets. I've seen that. It's fine.
Miami?
Yeah, because here's the thing. My top teams personally remaining are Texas, Alabama, UCLA, Tennessee.
Okay.
Those are my top teams remaining. Miami's just not in there for me.
No. Oh, no.
So-
Sorry. I got
or-
Miami.
sorry.
Listen.
Houston. Houston's not in there for me. So that's why I say that.
No, I like that.
And if you guys, I'll go ahead and throw an easy money out there.
Whoa.
You want a damn easy money in this?
I don't know if
shit?
we trust this.
What's your easy money?
Okay, so just go ahead and take the money line on Alabama versus San Diego State, right? Because San Diego State has played Charleston and Furman. Have you never heard of those 2 colleges? Oh, that's because nobody else has either. So really,
Yeah.
they haven't. San Diego State hasn't really proven anything.
No.
Yeah, they only got 6 losses on the season, but like just in a crappy conference. So I don't know what the money line is. I'm sure it's not great
Alabama
odds.
is minus 350 currently.
Easy money. Take it to the bank right now.
I like
Yeah,
that. victory,
Tufel
too.
says so. Pick the second longest shot to win, and go with that team, which would put us at, well, I guess based on
Princeton. Princeton's the longest.
is the longest, but second longest wouldn't that be
That would be the Aztecs.
right? That's what Jason
San
just
Diego State.
right. That's what Jason just said was not going to win.
Oh, wait, no, Florida Atlantic. I'm sorry. Florida Atlantic at 9
Oh, at
would be
9
your second furthest.
FAU.
And then the Aztecs comes in.
Yeah. Alabama is just I'm the most confident in them winning the game.
All right, let's look here real quick here. Scott says K-State against Tom Izzo. Michigan State's a tough ask, but this K-State team just continues to go. Michigan State has to go cold sometime, as much as it is. So that's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a great game to watch. Princeton over Creighton. Yes, sir. Twofold with the second longest shot. And Scott Cope says go under in the San Diego State game. I love that as well. If I had to pick some upsets, guys, Princeton over Creighton. I don't like anything else being upset in that Friday slate. I'm thinking K-State pulls it out, so I'm not picking them. I like Arkansas over UConn, and I'm going to pick Gonzaga over UCLA tomorrow night. So those are my 3 upset games there. If I had to put a lock on, but don't take this for granted, play it at your own risk, Arkansas over UConn's my lock. And I'm looking at the money line on this too. I believe if it changed on me, we'll see. There it is. Plus 160 for Arkansas. So I'd take that all day.
All right. You guys, real quick, do you guys want to have a dumbass topic for a minute?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I got a couple things I want to talk about. At least because
Okay.
first
Love
and
the
foremost,
Hardman deal, man.
First-
Love the Hardman deal.
first
Italy
and
Jack.
foremost, guys, have you heard about this thing called the catch yet? Anyone hear about this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there is a saltwater. It's a saltwater fishing tournament going on between NFL players, and it's going to be held April 15th. It's called the Catch. It's going to be on CBS Live. The players involved in this tournament are Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Matthew Judon, Patrick Surtain II, and the Chiefs' Chris Jones will also be in attendance. So this is basically a fishing competition between these players. It's going to be aired live, which, we've all seen Rodgers and Josh Allen and Mahomes go golfing, right? We've all seen that, right? So this is all guys who I assume have experience fishing. Like, how much time are you going to spend watching these guys? Because you know what? This might sound like a boring ass sporting event, but I guarantee you turn this thing on, you see Tyreek Hill, with you need to be said, and see all kinds of dumb shit while he's out there trying to, throw his fishing hook out there. It's going to be hilarious. And then you got Chris Jones out there playing around. I think it's going to be fun. I think you got Mr. Serious, Justin Herbert, who's going to be out there trying to get the biggest fish of them all. But I bet it's going to be one of these goofy guys that ends up with the biggest fish. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to watch this thing?
I actually might tune this in. When is it?
April 15th. Which I think I'll be in Las Vegas
You'll
at that
be in
time.
Vegas.
But it'll be. Hey, if I could bet on it,
I just
might bet on
looked.
it.
There's no lines yet across the board. So
As soon as I hear betting lines, when I'm in Vegas,
keep an
I
eye
might
out and I'll
throw
share it on Twitter as soon as I see it.
throw
So,
some money on Chris Jones.
I am interested in watching it. I'm curious to who's going to be the favorite if it does come out in betting. But honestly, I got to go with that. If I got to pick one here, I'm going to go with the Oregon boy. I got to go with Justin Herbert to win this thing.
Yeah, I feel like Herbert's going to take it the most serious out of everybody. The other guys, so here's the thing. We probably don't know Matthew Judon on a personal level very well.
I bet you Judon
What
goes
if he's
fishing.
a sneaky one that
Hold on.
no one's worried about, and he's gonna get in there. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Where did he go to college? That's the thing you got to look at.
He's been
Grand Valley State
in the league a while.
in the middle of Michigan.
Yeah.
This guy
There
has
you
been
go.
fishing.
Heck yeah.
That's
This guy's
true,
been
dude.
fishing.
That's true. So when those odds come out, we got to take that into account.
Judon.
So who else was in there?
We got Patrick Surtain, second, AJ Brown,
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook, Tyreek, and then Chris Jones. But Chris Jones from Mississippi, guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. See, Florida State's, some of those bigger schools, I don't see that happening. But like a Grand Valley and Oregon just being where he's at. But I bet you Justin Herbert also went fishing in high school.
see,
Tall as hair, so
the Chiefs' main pickup so far in free agency, the right tackle from Jacksonville, went to Florida. He loves fishing. That's what he's done his whole life growing up is fish.
perfect.
Big time. Yeah, that's all he's done is go fishing. So it's unfortunate he can't be in this, but I assume they wanted to pick some big names to put into this competition.
Well, yeah, they got to blow it up, right? Scott says, Tanner there will be betting on it. Yeah, I will put some bucks down. Dave says we can find a sports book to watch it. That'd be cool.
Hey, I
That
know
would be
it's
awesome.
it's April 15th, which I think is a Saturday, I believe. But I'd 100% watch it for a bit. I mean, that would be fun. I bet Las Vegas
Yeah,
would
it's
have
a
betting
Saturday.
odds for that too.
It's a Saturday.
Well, I would think that if we went to Barstool over there at Hollywood Casino, they would eventually have the odds posted
Right.
before it starts. But I'll
Yeah, well-
watch it. I'll watch it. This is exactly what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago in terms of like,
Yep.
how do we fix the Pro Bowl? Well, you just don't have it. You do stuff like this. You have a fishing competition. You have a poker tournament.
Have fun with
You
it.
And
know,
it's-
throw some lawn darts, even though those are illegal now. Do something special.
Scott has Dalvin Cook winning it.
It is going to be held in Miami Beach. You guys think that gives
Mm,
any advantage to anyone?
Yeah, a little
Maybe.
bit.
I don't know. I don't know if that really
But
matters.
it is the off season too, so a lot of guys are probably down there anyways.
Yeah. Well, Tyreek's been down there anyway. So
Exactly.
I mean, he's already been down there practicing. Probably he's probably fishing in that exact
He
same.
probably got that same
spot.
word, and
Mhm.
you know that's what he did.
Yeah.
I would not bet on
Oh, here you go.
Tyreek for that.
Scott says pickleball tournament instead of a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I've heard a little rumor out there that Patrick Mahomes is a big pickleball fan.
He is. He's looking to.
He likes
to do some,
pickleball.
buying into a league.
That's only because they won't let him play basketball anymore. Like they banned him
Right.
from all the other physical sports.
Yeah, which pickleball? I mean, at
Pickleball.
least it's non-contact.
Hey,
So-
that's the issue though. If you get injured there, it's not a good thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got some ankles and knees that'd be twisting quick. So
Those
you never know with
Achilles.
that one. My other thing, so Jason, you brought this up off there before we started, so I don't even know how to begin this topic. So
So it's very simple. I mean, there are a lot of offended people in the world, apparently, that there are people in the world that do not wash their towels after every use and not necessarily wash their bed sheets more than once a week. There are people in the world that have a problem with that. So I was going to bring it up and see what you guys' thoughts are. Like, should you wash your towels once a week or after every use, or is it something like, is it disgusting? Like I heard, if you let it go for longer than 2 to 3 weeks, or what's your take on that?
hold on. Earlier, you said Dan Orlovsky was talking about this, right?
Yeah, Dan
Yeah.
Orlovsky.
And how long does he go before washing his towel?
He only washes his towels once per week, and then there was another guy on that show that thought that was absolutely disgusting, that you should
Chris
wash your-
Canty. You said
Yeah.
it's Chris, the former
so
Redskins
you
defensive
should
end.
wash your damn towels after every single use. Otherwise, you're a freak or you're nasty or something like that.
After every other use.
Every use.
Oh, every use.
Every
Yes.
use.
So
That's a lot of laundry.
my question to you is like, because like what the towels to me are different than the bed sheets, because you can't let those bed sheets go longer than a week, or you've got fucking
You
bed
do a
bugs.
couple weeks.
No, you've got fucking.
What are you doing? Bathing
Do
every
you know
day?
what bed bugs
you
are,
really?
Tanner?
Are you just eating cereal in your bed all
Do
day?
you know that the bed bugs can crawl
Oh
up
my
your ass if you
God.
don't wash the damn sheets? That
What
that
are-
to me, that's more disgusting
What are you talking
than
about?
the non-washing of the bath.
Why do you got to
towels.
wash the sheets every week?
Well,
You
Tanner,
sleep in
there's-
it for a week and then go.
There's people. This
wash
is the
it?
same conversation as people who take showers either night or morning. Is because they say you sweat at night, so that means that sweat is going onto your bed and making the bed dirty. So that means you need to immediately shower in the morning when you wake up because you're nasty from sweating all night. This is people talking about this. I've heard this as an argument for it.
So I guess
And
that's
so,
true.
so that means
Yeah.
every time you sleep, you release toxins from your pores from all the bad stuff you've been doing, and then your bed gets dirty. So then after like 7 days, would that too long?
I never thought about it that way.
I'm just
So-
I'm just saying like, it all goes.
I
hand in
shower
hand
every
with that.
morning. I go to the
But
morning
the towel
showers.
thing.
The towel. I mean,
Tufel has a weird comment.
yeah. He
here.
even says
Completely.
technically a towel dries off a clean water you, so it's getting clean
But-
in every use.
but I don't- no, but
Thank
listen, hold
you.
on.
Thank you for
Hold
that.
on, hold on. Though. Just because something's dry does not mean it's clean. Like just because dirt is dry does not mean that dirt
Okay,
is clean.
But
Like
I
it
think
dries. Everything dries.
But his point is, when you took a shower, you used clean water and soap, which
You're-
means when you step out of the shower,
you should be
your
clean.
body is perfectly clean. And what ends up on the towel? Clean water,
Water.
which, to his point and to my point that I'm going to make right now, you never wash the towels. Maybe once a year, once every 2
Oh,
years.
No,
Because
no,
if you
no,
hang it-
no, no.
Listen, hey, let me finish. If you hang it over a rack to dry, that clean water just dries. It's never going to get mildew. It's never going to have dirt.
Now, hold
or
on.
dirty
No,
water
that's
on
not
there.
how
You've
it
never
works, dude.
smelled a mildewy
That's
towel
not
that's
how it works.
not been washed long enough.
You
Not
can let
how
it-
it works,
Hey,
dude.
I'm not saying I know from experience. You can let that shit go for a year. The bed sheets though are different. I'm telling you, the bed bugs will crawl up your ass if you don't wash that shit
I don't
once
know
a
what
week.
you're eating.
Now here's the thing.
in bed.
So assuming you think all these towels are clean after you use them after showering, then would you give that same towel that you dried off with the next day to your daughter or wife and say, "Oh, it's a clean towel"?
I do it all the time.
So your towel that
I
you
do
use,
it all the
they
time.
got dry. You would then give that
Yes.
to your family and say you could use that same
yeah.
towel. It's clean. It's dry.
Do you guys all walk out of the shower and you're just nasty or dirty or like
No.
what's the whole point?
But I'm not sharing all these things I'm rubbing off my body with my family.
I'm not,
or anybody
I'm
else
not
for that
doing that
matter.
either.
I'm just saying, like you got to wash the bed sheets. That's the most important.
You're gonna
thing.
let your family use your ball rinsed towel.
Yeah, because you know why? Do you know why? Because I just cleaned my balls, dude. My balls were clean.
no.
The water
Oh
is
my
clean.
lord, dude!
Everything is clean, dude.
Ugh.
And I'm gonna wash the towels once a year, and everybody's gonna live.
Tell us
to
how
see
you feel
another
about
day.
going to the bathroom washing your hands.
Everybody, hey, everybody's gonna live to see another day. Guess what?
Toothful
Not a
out
big
here.
deal.
Toothful out here says only wash the towel when it gets crunchy. Otherwise, you're good.
Dude, he
It does get
knows.
stiff
Like,
after a while.
see, we have another human being
See,
who's using
he
some
says-
logic.
He says my dogs sleep on the bed. Shit's not given. Even shower, evening showers.
I
always.
do not. Here's the thing. So Tanner, to counteract what I said earlier about the bed, I'm a nighttime shower person because I don't like going into my bed dirty. So why would I want to get the bed already dirty immediately when I lay down and then lay in my sweaty filth immediately? I'd rather sweat during the night than because then they worry about but then you're gonna wake up and be smelling all day long.
But even
But
if you take the shower at night and go right to bed,
as long as you're
you're
dry,
you're gonna sweat in your sleep
Sure.
and you're gonna get bed bugs. It's just gonna happen whether you
But
shower or not.
But then if you go to bed without showering, you're gonna go to bed already
You'll have
dirty.
more bed bugs.
So then,
But the bottom
so that's
line
the
is you
point.
still got to wash the damn sheets
So
once a
then-
week.
So you can get a shower twice a day then.
Whatever you got to do, man. Whatever you got to
No.
do to keep those fucking bed
I
bugs
do-
from crawling up your ass.
I'll do it immediately after work. I'll get home, it'd be 5 p.m., take a shower immediately, and that's my shower for the day.
Now, Twofold brought up a great point, though. If you're just going to wad that towel up and throw it in a corner somewhere, then yeah, it's
You
going
have
to get
wash that.
it's going to get mildew, and you need to wash
No.
it after every single use. But if you're going to hang it up and it's got clean water on there, and it's going to dry, yes, you wait till it gets crunchy, like 1 or 2 years from now.
So Scott out here says, "Good balls talk. It's hard to resist. You come to the right spot, dude."
So here's the thing.
Dave says this shit tain't funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of taint going on.
Toothful out here. I think morning shower people don't work for a living. Blue collar won't go to bed without a shower.
Yeah.
I work, dude. I work every
No,
freaking day.
I
Don't you worry.
I don't have time to be showering and all stuff. I wake up right away. I'm clean because I showered the night before, right? You know, I didn't sweat that much. I'm not that damn sweaty. And I put on my clothes, brush my teeth. I'm good to go. It takes me about 20 minutes to get ready.
Now,
That's
here's the one thing that I've never.
See, that's what I'm
understood,
trying to
though.
figure out. Scott,
What
how
I-
do you sweat with AC on in the bed?
The one thing I've never understood is these people that take 2 and 3 showers per day.
Oh, I can't stand that. I would
I-
never
I-
do that.
like-
I heard
it's
Oprah
like-
does that.
I don't understand it because all you're doing is drying out your skin, and it's almost like, dude, you can only get so clean. Why would you take more than one
Right.
shower a day? It doesn't make any sense. It's almost like maybe they think they stink when they really don't.
It's that
Wow.
germophobic thing, probably.
So real quick, back to the towel thing. So I was thinking about me personally. So I lived alone for a year.
Correct.
And when I lived alone for a year, the towel thing I continued to continue to do as a single man. And I would wash my towels probably after every 3 to 4 uses. Is what I did. Every 3 to 4. So every 3 to 4 days,
Oh, that's
I'd wash
too
my towels.
much.
No,
Once
that's
every
that's
if-
what I
hey.
did before I was single for
Exactly.
my time period. And so I was 3 to 4 times, but I just got used to that rhythm and I was doing that. Now, my bed sheets, on the other hand, I was all about savoring the flavor. I was all about whatever happened to that bed the night before. It was gonna get all stained in there. I didn't want that thing to leave.
Now, is that when you had all the brown recluse spiders in there? Was that the same time period? Because I'm telling you, the reason why the brown recluse spiders were in your bed is because you had your dandruff all over the damn sheets because you never washed
I just
it.
like getting into my bed, and I jump
and it
on
was
in
probably
there.
your ball dandruff.
I just like knowing
nonetheless.
what I did 10 days ago in there. and I can still smell it. And I'm like,
Have
I
you
don't
ever-
want to
is
ever
that-
wash these sheets.
Is that a thing? Have you ever heard of like people having dandruff on their ball?
No.
On their balls?
Hairy balls.
I have not heard
What?
that.
I've heard that that's a thing.
Wouldn't
man.
that be
maybe
like-
that's why they take the 3 showers a day.
It's like,
They
like
gotta
people
get
don't
rid of
be
that
like
fucking-
shower, don't
crabs?
shave.
You got to get rid of that fucking dandruff. so
That
you
sounds
take
like an
3
STD
showers
to
a
me.
day.
That's an STD.
No, it's just regular ball dandruff.
No, that's STD. You don't have ball I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Wait a second. Are you serious? Okay, I need to go. I got to make a doctor's
Two,
appointment.
Tufel says ball dandruff. I didn't see that in the Head and Shoulders
I-
commercial.
I didn't know that
Do you
was
not-
an STD.
Do you shave your balls?
I'm gonna go to the doctor, man.
Well,
I
if you
gotta
shave
make an
them, you'll
appointment.
never see dandruff anyway. You should never see dandruff.
I thought it was just dandruff. No, this is more serious than I thought. I'm gonna have to schedule an appointment.
What do you know? What do you know? There it is, a Reddit post from 2015. First thing you Google.
That's ball dandruff, isn't it? Yes. See,
Ball-
I told you I do not have an STD. What the hell is wrong with you? It's just ball dandruff.
I don't think I ever had ball dandruff in my bed.
The bottom line is wash your damn sheets, people.
Now, so now that I'm in a relationship again, it's like every 3 days. Like she lets me go 3 days. I would go longer if I could because I like keeping everything musty in there.
Well,
She's like adamant every 3 days, and she'll do it.
well, I'm with you on the towels though. If you're single, wash your towels once every 6 months.
6 months?
It doesn't
No!
matter. If you're single, it doesn't matter, dude.
No, like, why would no? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'd rather have the bed dirty
Once a month.
once a month for the sheets.
No, once a month for the towels.
Oh, that's too long. To
Sheets
me.
are about a week. So
That's too long.
I don't mess with
Alright.
those damn bed bugs, man. That's nasty.
I did not have brown recluse because of my bed. It was already the brown recluse was already infested into my attic.
Yeah, but you were feeding them by not cleaning all the stuff off of your sheets.
Actually,
you were feeding
I did
them.
find them in my. Actually, you might be right. I found them in my bed many times.
Yeah, they multiplied because they were probably eating all the bed bugs that were in your bed that you couldn't see. Because they are like microscopic, but the damn brown recluse spiders were probably eating them. So
Dude.
you're the reason why your apartment was infested. You created that shit.
No, I just helped feed them.
You
and keep them-
blamed it. You blamed it on like the apartment complex when the whole time it was your fault.
I just helped keep them around. Okay, they kept coming back to feed, and then go back up in the attic during the morning.
oh my
But at nighttime, they
Lord.
come out to play.
Tufel out here says, I think women have a bigger chance of crotch dandruff just by nature of position. Scott would like to know, Jason,
Oof.
who's joining us, by the way, on In the Hoop on Saturdays. Scott Cobes will be joining Jason and I. Do you have these takes on Saturday?
What do you say about women's
Saturday.
dandruff? What do you say about women's dandruff?
He says they have a bigger chance of at crotch dandruff just by nature of position.
Well, you guys know why you never go down on your chick in the morning, right?
And to answer his question, I don't know what kind of takes I'm going to have on Saturday because I'm probably going to be mobile. I've got to drive out of town, so
Oh,
I
that
might
sounds
be.
fun.
If I end up doing this on my potato phone, there's no
It's gonna
telling.
be good.
There's no telling what kind of takes I'm going to have from there.
Dave is talking about today's sponsor. I'm just kidding. Lawnmower 2.0. So, which is true on that. And then
Lawnmower
Tufel
2.0.
says, so glad I can help steer this down the wrong, albeit funny road. Tufel, you fit in just fine.
Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well-
I want to say thank you to Dan Orlovsky for having, that topic about not washing his towels more than once a week because that gave us a fun show.
It's fun because we all, I think, have differing opinions on it too.
Yeah.
We all have our separate lives, and we all can agree on the same things in some sports, but when it comes to towels and bed sheets, apparently we're all just in
We're all
different
different.
range.
Now, one more thing I will point out, like my normal opinion on that was completely different during the pandemic. I washed all of that shit multiple times per week.
Well, I hope you wore a
because
mask to bed too.
No, well, I didn't do that, but you got to get the COVID off. So I wanted to wash all that fucking COVID off of there. So I had a different opinion back then.
You think it seeps in your body while you sleep?
Yes. Oh, I didn't care. I just didn't want to take any
You
risks.
should have bleached it. You should have bleached your sheets.
I didn't want to take the risk.
Wow.
Tufel says, I don't think I've ever washed a towel in my life. He just buy new ones.
I like that idea. I think I might switch to that. I'm gonna switch to that.
Scott
man.
You know
says
what? I'm
this is all because of Dan Orlovsky. Can't trust.
So how
ESPN
much money?
people.
What does your salary need to be, Twofold, if you're going to pull that off? You have to make
Right?
at least 80 grand a year if you're going to be buying new towels.
I
every
could use an
fucking week or every month.
experiment on this because I don't think my girlfriend's watching this right now. I will just use my same towel for as long as I possibly can until she says something about it. And then at that point, I will know the exact amount of time that it's too long.
So
And then I'll get it down to a science, but
Right.
just by her nose.
Tuval says towels are only like $20-$30.
Wow,
So
20-30 bucks.
That's they're cheaper than that.
I thought they were cheaper than that. Jeez.
no, you can
inflation, dude.
I
Inflation.
guess.
They're probably they're about $15.
20,
so
20 bucks.
I do like the soft ones at Target. That's normally what I do.
definitely if you were single and you were making 75, 80 grand a year.
I mean,
you
just
could-
think about it. If you do it every month and a half,
every month you just buy a new towel.
that's 20 times 12.
I like it.
Take it.
I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to use the same towel for as long as possible until the girlfriend says something. And I'm just going to start it was 2 days ago that I think I used my towel last. So we're going to see how long it goes until she notices.
Dude, if you just did like a couple of squirts of your cologne on there after every use, you'd never have to wash it for like 10 years.
What's
10 fucking years. You just keep squirting cologne. on
Sometimes
there.
I'll wear the same shirt like twice, but I'll just cologne it up and then I'm good.
Well,
Yeah.
I've
Just
done
start
that.
doing that to your towel. You probably save money on laundry detergent too if you do that.
So Scott says you can't get towels cheap. You can get towels cheap, buy them every 2 to 3 months. Cheap towels rip skin off, buy Twofold, get good towels. Scott says $12.99 there in Boston. And Twofold says, I have no kids or wife draining my bank account, so that helps.
Ooh, I like that even better.
All right. Well, I'm glad we all got that off our chest today.
Oh man.
Well,
All right,
you
well-
almost got off your chest. You didn't get your fucking bed bugs off your chest because you don't wash your damn sheets.
I
but
had
you,
to
you
leave.
got
I moved.
something off of your chest.
I moved out. I left.
All right.
And I'm pretty sure I got rid of the sheets too. So those are gone. All right, guys. Well, any final thought to thinking forward into the next weeks, thinking into what's coming up? I know we still have another week left of March to get through. Obviously, March Madness is a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that starting tomorrow throughout the weekend, watching more basketball games. But otherwise, I mean, it's WrestleMania is around the corner. You
April
guys-
1st.
You guys can watch that. I don't watch
April
wrestling
1st.
anymore like I used to, but I
don't
will
either.
watch WrestleMania every year, just that one thing, and then I'm happy for a year.
Buffoon and Botkins, we talked about it Monday night with Jim Berenger. We'll be talking about it again this upcoming Monday. He writes for Full Press Wrestling as well. So he'll have the takes, the matchups to watch.
Yeah.
It is a 2-night series again, the last
Mhm.
2-night show for WrestleMania this year or this time. So next time it'll be one night finally again.
Absolutely. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. so.
Twofold says he's looking forward to seeing the breaking news of D Hop being a chief.
Yeah.
Scott watches wrestle a lot. Yeah, I haven't.
Scott, man, you and I would have gotten along really good back in the day.
Scott
'cause
wants to come on. Hey man, we'll
I-
get you on Monday night.
from like year 98 to 2015-ish is when I was watching wrestling pretty
common.
like almost every day. And then I don't know, something happened here in the last decade where I just can't get into it like I used to. Wrestling back in the Attitude Era, and then the whatever era that came right after that was a lot of fun. Just nowadays it's just not my
Yeah.
thing as much.
It kind of ruined it lately. So we'll just still check it out. So Jason and I and Scott Koba, Let's Talk Sports, will be doing In the Hoop on Saturday at some time. So tune in then. Keep a reminder out there for you. And then that's about it going on.
All right, guys.
Twofold says, like I said, Monday, the last I watched wrestling, they had a bed in the ring and Leela.
Oh, yeah.
Leela's tits. Yeah, you
That
talked
was
about
Lita,
that Monday.
Lita and Edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lita and Edge were doing what did they call that exactly? It was a live sex session, is
Yeah.
what they were calling it. That was the whole thing, was like they were gonna do it in the bed or whatever. And it was like a whole Matt Hardy feud with Edge at the time.
The sex show.
They wanted to be stupid about it.
USA Network
Really.
for the win. Scott wants to come talk on Wednesday night with JG about WrestleMania. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, guys. Everybody, have a fabulous week. We'll chat at you on Saturday for In the Hoop. Make sure you guys tune in, hit subscribe, like the video, share it out, guys.
See y'all on the next one.
Later, guys.
See you guys.